There are two past tenses in Spanish, the preterite and the imperfect. Though they are very different, deciding between the preterite and imperfect tenses when talking about the past can be tricky. Generally, the preterite tense is used for actions in the past that have a start time and an end time. They are actions that happen and then they are over. For example, yo estornude. This means I sneezed. I used the preterite to tell you that I sneezed because the action happened once in the past. It is over and done with. The imperfect, on the other hand, is usually used to show that something happened repeatedly in the past, or that it used to happen. It is not a one-time event. For example, comía brócoli cuando era niña. This means I used to eat broccoli when I was a child. I use the imperfect tense in this sentence because cuando era niña, or when I was a child, implies that I used to do something, which is a trigger that shows that you should use the imperfect tense. A good way to remember the difference between the two tenses is to think of a camera. You could use the video mode on a camera to record things happening in the imperfect tense. They would be happening repeatedly, maybe over months or even years. But a picture could be taken of the preterite. It is a snapshot. It is a completed action that happened one time. This analogy is obviously flawed, and there are exceptions, but it gives an idea of the big differences between the two past tenses. Another good rule to remember is that if you don't have more information, you can generally assume the preterite tense. For example, say we have the sentence, Compré los pantalones en el centro comercial, which means that I bought pants at the mall. Comprar has been conjugated to the present tense, preterite tense, because no more information was given. It is the default. However, if we had this sentence, it would be different. Compraba los pantalones en el centro comercial cuando estaba en la universidad. This means I bought pants at the mall when I was in college. Because the phrase when I was in college implies that you used to buy pants at the mall, you should use the imperfect tense. It wasn't something that happened one time. It was an ongoing event in the past. Finally, an important thing to remember and keep in mind is that there are certain words and phrases that trigger the use of a certain tense. For the preterite, some triggers are ayer, which means yesterday, anoche, which means last night, el semana pasado, which means last week, el año pasado, which means last year, and hace 2 días, which means 2 days ago. For the imperfect, some triggers that you can remember are cada día, every day, frecuentemente, frequently, siempre, always, cuando era niña, when I was a child, and nunca, never. If you keep these things in mind, deciding between the preterite and imperfect should be easy. Thank you for listening.